Amy Rich with my February 2023 Paper Pumpkin alternate project. And this was so fun to work with because look at the fun pieces I used in my card. And all of these pieces, all of these items that you see here come straight from the Paper Pumpkin kit. So we're going to use these pieces to create a Cascading Panels fun fold card. And the first thing I did was I found a great tutorial by Lisa Ann Bernard, and she shared dimensions and all of that good stuff that I needed. So I made a prototype with white cardstock, and then I put the measurements, I put what size DSP, if I was going to add the DSP, designer series paper, and then on the back side, I added some more measurements, and then I was able to start creating because I could see the pieces turn into this really cool card. So we're going to start with these, and actually we'll start with this card and an envelope. So the envelope, first of all, we're going to open up, and don't worry too much about the folding or the tearing as you open it because it'll work just fine. And I'm going to grab my trimmer then and do some cutting. So the first thing I'm going to do is line up one of those flaps at the top of my trimmer, and then the flap with the gum on the top of it. And I'm just going to cut that flap off completely. And then I'm going to turn it 180 degrees. And I am going to cut this at 3 3/8 of an inch. This, and I'll bring in, so 3 3/8. And now I'll bring in my template so I can show you. It's going to be the designer series paper on this panel right here on both sides. So it's 3 3/8. Now we have to turn it and cut 2 pieces, 2.5 inches. So I'm going to turn it. And I'm going to first cut off the little flap. Okay, so I cut off the fold line and then just a little bit more just to make sure it's nice and clean. And then I will turn it 180 degrees so that we've got a flat side for our measuring. And I'm going to cut that at 2 1/4. No, 2.5. Do as I say and not as I do. No, 2.5 inches. So we need 2 of those, 2.5 by 3 3/8. So now we'll set that aside. We don't need these pieces, and we'll set these 2 pieces off to the side. And then we're going to grab this piece right here, and we're going to actually use the blue side. We're going to use it as a sky. So I'm going to put this in with my window side over here on the right. And I'm going to put in that left edge at 4 inches and cut that off. And then I'm going to do a 1/4 turn and cut it at 5 3/8. Okay, so you've just cut a little sliver off, and you can use this window for something else. That might make something really cute. But we're going to use this piece right here. Then let's see, while we have our trimmer out, I feel like there was one more thing, but maybe not. We might be done. Keep it handy just in case I lied. And then while we have this out, I'm just going to take a piece of grid paper and our sun stamp and use our Mango Melody ink pad. And I'm seeing a lot of Mango Melody color these days. So I've enjoyed the bright cheery color that is Mango Melody. And we'll stamp that sun right up in the upper right hand corner of this piece. While we have the ink pad and the stamps handy, we are going to stamp the kite piece into the kite from the kit. And I think the kit called for us to do this anyway, so we're not doing any different than what the kit says. So we'll stamp that right in our kite. Super cute. And then while we have this out, we are going to take our grass and put some adhesive on there. Now what you will notice, this is from the kit, what you will notice is that part of that short edge is going to hang over. So I'm going to add it to that left and bottom edge of the piece we just cut. And it's just going to hang over a little bit. So we'll flip it over and trim that off. And then it looks like this. Another stamp we're going to add, I'm going to add, is You Brighten My Day. And this stamp also comes from the stamp set in the Paper Pumpkin kit. And then I will ink that up and stamp that in my sky right there. And then we're going to set this aside. We won't need that for a while. Next, we're going to work with our card base. And I'm going to bring the trimmer in so I can show you. This is Balmy Blue cardstock, cut 9.5 by 4 1/8. And I am going to score it at 1 inch. So I'm going to use my scoring blade, score it at 1 inch, and then flip it and score it at 2 inches. And then I'm going to open my trimmer because we need to get to measurements over here. And we're going to score it at 7.5 and 8.5. And then there's 1 more inch over here because it's cut at 9.5. So now we're going to accordion fold the edges. So I'm going to fold in and then out on the outside score line so that it's got a little accordion action going on over here. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So the inner score line we go in with, and the outer score line we come out. And I'm just using my clear block as my scoring or my folding tool. All right, so now we are ready to open this up and add this piece to the inside of our card. So we've decorated that all, we had it ready to go. And now this is just going to fit right in here with a teeny bit of a border on all 4 sides. All right, so just like this. All right, so we've got our card base ready to go, and let me show you what else we're going to use. We've got 2 pieces of Balmy Blue that are cut 2.5 by 3, I think. Let me bring in my template again. 2.5 by 3. Yep, I was right. And then I've scored it at 3/4 and 1 3/4. And I've done that twice. And then I've got 4 more pieces of Balmy Blue, and we'll get to those sizes in just a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do is Z-fold these little pieces so they look like this. And again, you can really give it a nice crease using a bone folder or a clear block, which is what I happen to have handy right here. And you'll do that to both pieces. So you have a little bit of a Z going on here 2 times. Now, when we add these pieces to our card, they're just going to kind of be extenders. And we want a folded side to line up along that right edge of the card. So I'm going to, for this, I'm going to take liquid glue and add this over here to that right edge. I want it to go all the way to the right edge, and I want it to go line up at the bottom as well. So those who are subscribers of mine for Paper Pumpkin get invited free to this free class, and then I cut everything for them and send it to them so that they're able to make the project exactly like I am making it. And we put it together a little bit differently in our Paper Pumpkin party, but it's the same idea. So once again, we've taken the folded edge and lined it up with the edge of that card base. So then you've got a cool card base that looks like this. Fun accordion folds. Now we're going to open this up and we're going to make it look a little bit more visually appealing by doing some cutting. Just a freehand cut from this corner down here up to the score line. And if you think you need to do it with the trimmer to get it straight, or you need to draw a line, a light line, you can certainly do that, but I'm just eyeballing it. So I cut this off, and now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Since I am right-handed, I'm going to start over at the score line this time and work my way down to this corner. All right, so we've got those corners looking really nice. And now we have 2 pieces of balmy blue that are cut 2 3/4 by 3 5/8. So 2 3/4 by 3 5/8. And we have cut these pieces to fit right into place. So I'm going to adhere these pieces from the envelope into place here. Now, if you do not have this paper pumpkin kit, this can easily be duplicated using other products and designer series paper. So you'll be able to make this really cool folded card, the Cascading Panels Fun Fold, with different products. It'll be great. So now that we've got those 2 pieces, I'm going to show you that these are going to fit right over this ugly edge here where those 2 pieces overlap on the card base. So that will get tucked right into there like this. So we want the bottom edge and lined up, and then the left edge only over to the fold. So I'm going to take my liquid glue again, put adhesive on both of those sections, and I'm going to tuck that into place, and then I'll fold it down so that I'm sure everything looks straight as it adheres. We'll do the same thing over here. Let's close it, make sure everything looks straight. And what I have found is that these 2 pieces will overlap just a teeny bit, but that's okay. We'd rather have that than have a gap. So we want them to overlap just a little bit. That's all right. Okay, so here we've got those. Isn't that cute so far? I love it. And we're not going to do anything special to those panels, but we are, for these 2 pieces, which are cut 2 1/4 by 3 1/8. We're not going to do any layering here with full panels, but we are going to take this piece of 4.5 by 1 inch pear pizzazz, and we're going to make a little hill. So I'm just going to do a little dip in the middle and then go back and cut a hill on top. And then I am going to layer it onto this panel and flip it over and trim it. Now you could trim it at 2 1/4 inches. That would give you the same length. And I could have done that with my trimmer, but I thought this was just as easy. So now I've got the 2 pieces to go on the panels to make it look like grass, but we're gonna go one better than that. I'm gonna cut fringes with my scissors, and it can be different lengths of fringe, different widths, just like grasses are all different. We're gonna go all the way over so that we've got this fun fringe. And then I'm just going to layer just a little adhesive at the bottom so that that can go fit right in here like this. And then we'll do the same thing to the left-hand side. So I'll start here and work my way over in different widths and lengths. Okay, so then we've got that piece, and we'll adhere that the same way. Just a little glue at the bottom to adhere to our sky. And then you can play with that fringe a little bit if you want to make that grass come to life. And then we're going to add more pieces here. So we'll start with our bunny. We'll work on the left-hand side first. And actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna add these panels over here. So when you close this all the way down, you see a gap here. That's okay. We're gonna add adhesive just to that panel. But when we add this left edge, we're going to add it all the way over to the left side. And again, I suppose we could have cut this panel a little bit longer, but these are the instructions I read from Lisa and Bernard. And so I just followed them, and I wasn't gonna mess with a good thing. I knew it worked. So we'll put adhesive there, but make sure my panel goes all the way over to that right edge and up to the bottom of my card. So now you'll see that these panels all cascade outwards when pulled, which is what you want. That's what you want it to do, yay. So now we're gonna take our rabbit, and he's gonna be holding the kite string. And what I didn't like was that there was this white around his hand. So I am going to actually go in and trim out right around his hand so that that white is gone. And once I get all the way around his hand, then I'll come in and follow, see this curve here around his cheek? I'll follow that down to cut off that section. So we'll just make it so it looks like this, so his hand is free of that white space around it. I'm not always picky about stuff like that, but this time I really wanted that kite to go, the kite string to go right through his hand. So we're gonna flip him over now, and we're gonna take a couple edges of our dimensionals, and we're gonna put those up in his ears. And then just a little liquid glue at his feet. And I just wanted a little dimension, but I didn't want his feet popped up because I'm gonna tuck those underneath the grass on the left-hand side. So I'll pop his ears up over here, but keep his feet on the ground. All right, so there he is. Now we can add our kite. Now, if need be, you can trim off some of the kite, but if it fits, you can just tuck it under the hand, making sure the string goes through that hand we so carefully cut. And then you'll see that we only want adhesive on this bottom left section of the kite. So we'll put adhesive there and then a little bit on the string as well. And then we'll tuck that back in. And you can see it's so cute. All right, so here's that left-hand side. It's okay if it goes up over the edge, as long as it doesn't go up past the top of the card, it'll still fit in the envelope. So then for the other side, let's start with the flowers actually. We're gonna take the flowers from the kit, and we'll do the one that has the yellow tulip on the left-hand side. And we're just gonna add some adhesive here at the bottom. And we're gonna tuck that in, and actually we don't want it all the way over because that yellow tulip is gonna hang over. So we don't want that right edge to hang over, but that left edge sure can. So we'll adhere that down and see how when it's closed, that tulip can hang over there. And then we're gonna take this banner, this is from the kit also, and cut it in half. And I'm not gonna cut another banner in half, but here's the one I cut in half from class. And then there's a teeny tiny little hello stamp in the kit. So we're gonna take that and stamp that way to the left-hand side over on the banner edge. So it looks like this. And then you know what I like to do? I like to curl the edge a little bit. So when we adhere it down, we don't want adhesive all the way to that edge because I want it to curl. And we're going to let it hang off the edge a little bit right where that banner end is. About right there. on the card. And then we'll pop up one of the clouds from the kit. Love all these little die cut pieces. They are so much fun to play with. And of course, this kit coordinates with our Rain or Shine suite in the January to April 2023 mini catalog. So if you have those products, they will coordinate with this kit. And I love that. I love the coordination always. And so here, as we cascade, we can see such a cute card that will make anybody's day a little bit brighter, just like that person brightened yours. And so that will sit up nicely on a shelf or a mantle and be just a cute spring decoration. Thank you for joining me for this Cascading Panels Fun Fold card. I will see you next month for another Paper Pumpkin alternate project.